So I wanted to talk about that comment right there. I've been seeing this a lot, and I've heard a lot of it in real life. Let me just tell you a little story about my mom, and then you can see for yourself what you think. So my mom raised 8 kids, fed us breakfast every morning, dinner was what we ate at lunch, and then supper was her evening meal. She made all of our clothes, and she even made her own patterns to make clothes with so that they would fit better. She made quilts, pillows for couches and for beds, canned everything under the sun, from meats to vegetables to fruits to juice. Every summer, or every year, she would usually can around 600 cans of stuff. And she planted a garden every year, did all the harvest and the prep work for canning, did the laundry once a week, hung it out to dry, ironed and hung everything up. She packed lunches for 8 years for 8 different kids to go to school, and then also for me and my older brother to go to work. When my dad went to work, she packed our lunches. She was the last one to go to bed every night and the first one up in the morning. When I still lived at home but worked construction, she would wake me up at 5:45 so I could catch my van at 6. And she had my lunch packed and breakfast ready for me, so I'd be ready in 15 minutes. She was the best cook or baker that I will ever know. There will never be anybody who can make an apple pie like my mother. When we butchered, she was the one that would cut up all the different cuts of meat and grind it and prep it for canning. She'd tell us where to cut and what her plans were for the meat. And she was smart as well. She had the first bent and dent store in our community, and she ran that on top of everything else that she did. And to this day, she has a greenhouse that she runs. She did all the finances for her family, paid all the bills, managed the money. And she did all of this not because she had to or she was forced to, but because she was able to. That is what makes a good woman. And on top of that, I never once saw her or my dad argue. They had disagreements, but they never argued about it, at least not in front of us. They would hash it out in private, and there would never be any harsh words. I always thought they were a pretty good team, but looking back, I can tell that my mom was leading. She just wasn't too open about it. And on top of all that, she had to punish us kids when we were being naughty, which is quite often for me. Of course, as us kids got older, we could start helping out and life became a little easier. But life wasn't easy for my dad either. People weren't worried about rights. Life was hard, but they were in love and they were living their dream.